Hello everyone, and welcome to the first episode of the Lil G-fan show. I will be your host, G-fan Dad, as we explore the world of Godzilla toys and collectibles, focusing on those the younger generation of G-fans might enjoy. This episode and series is dedicated to my little G-fan and all the other little G-fans out there that have discovered Godzilla in the recent years, due in part to the new MonsterVerse films. A special shout out to all of the G-fan parents out there right now, browsing toy shelves and searching online for Godzilla toys to satisfy their child's new aspiring fandom for the big guy. It has been a great year to be a Godzilla fan. We saw the release of the King of the Monsters film, which I enjoyed by the way, that saw the return of a lot of classic and beloved monsters. With the film, we also saw the release of a lot of new toys and collectibles. And when you add that on top of what's already out there, it creates quite a vast selection that is constantly growing. Unfortunately, it hasn't always been so. If you grew up in the late 80s and early 90s and didn't live next to a Japanese toy store, it was kind of hard finding that Godzilla item you were craving, especially after watching your first few films and you really wanted your favorite monster in toy form. Luckily, a toy company called Imperial, which manufactured a lot of the plastic dragon and dinosaur toys at the time, released this, the Imperial Godzilla. For a lot of us G-fans, it was our first Godzilla toy, and for that reason, I believe it deserves special mention in this episode, because there's nothing quite like your first Godzilla toy that brightened up your childhood and ushered you into the world of Godzilla collecting. We want to take a closer look at the Imperial now, and its more contemporary counterpart that can be found in toy stores right now. Here we're looking at the Imperial Godzilla figure, which stands a little over a foot high, making it tower over most toys. Now this figure doesn't really depict a version of Godzilla from any of the films, but instead brings together a lot of classic elements that come together to make a really great representation of the big guy, including the spectacular detail in his monstrous body. A lot of detail went in to getting all these scales on there from head to toe, then head to tail. And here we see the classic Godzilla dorsal fins which come up the back. As you can see, this figure is painted green, and depending upon the literature, you might find Godzilla might be green, brown, or gray. Now this figure also looks pretty good stomping by the camera. This figure has 5 points of articulation at the arms, legs, and the tail. There are a few uncommon characteristics you might find in this figure, including Godzilla's rather muscular arms and his puffed up muscular chest, which is painted gray. Godzilla has definitely been bench pressing those skyscrapers. There have been a few gripes about this figure's head if you look head on with it. You'll notice that the lower jaw is a little off. His eyes might be a little crooked as well. The red outline along the mouth has also been dubbed Godzilla's lipstick. But why so serious? The true gem of this figure is its longevity. Imperial definitely made this figure to last. This one here is nearly 30 years old. It's in pretty good condition considering it has been unintentionally dropped from high distances, submerged in bathtubs and pools, even buried underground to reenact certain emergent scenes next to homemade volcanoes. You might be wondering, where can I find a figure that has not been on the toy shelves for nearly 30 years? I have personally seen several at comic and anime conventions across Texas, but the quickest route would be searching online Imperial Godzilla, which will bring up this 12-inch figure or its 6-inch counterpart, which is just a scaled down version for various prices. Now, we're going to compare the Imperial to a more contemporary figure we can find right now. Here we have the Jakks Pacific King of the Monsters Godzilla. It is about the same height as the Imperial, but with a straightened tail, it's a little bit longer. Unlike the Imperial, it does a really good depiction of the new Godzilla. It also has articulation in the arms and legs, and one of the tail meant to screw the tail on for assembly. It is painted a rather bluish gray color for most of its body. And like the Imperial, it has gray speckled across the chest as well. We're looking at them side by side. You can see differences in the head shape, body size, arms. Legs are slightly similar. The Jax is also made of a rather harder plastic than the Imperial. It is a good figure though. The only true gripe about it is if you stare at it from this side, you can see the holes meant to house the screws which hold it together. But it's still a great figure that can be found at any local Walmart for about $20. And it is currently my 5-year-old nephew's favorite toy. One final figure I want to go over real fast is this 4-inch Godzilla, which I found at a toy store in Austin. Meant to be a similar body shape than the Imperial. It has the curved tail as well. It's painted green, also has the gray along the dorsal fins in the back. It just lacks the red outline along the mouth. But interesting enough, it has an interesting red nose, which the big Imperial does not have. So there you have it, guys. 3 suggestions for your little G-fan. So now, little kids, you can go out there and beg mom and dad for the new toy. And I hope it helped you parents learn about what's out there for your little one. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. Stay tuned for future episodes. And again, thanks for watching.